Hello traders, welcome back to Forex Gym. My name is George and this is Daily Forex Analysis for 23rd of March 2020. In this video I'm going to be analyzing 5 currency pairs, but before we do that, if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. I'm making daily and weekly Forex analysis as well as videos about the knowledge you need to be a better trader. Starting with the euro against US dollar from the daily chart. Now we can see that the price came down last week and tested this monthly S2. Then we had the reaction, the price went all the way back up here, which was around that 108.30 zone, and then came all the way down and closed in here and left this candle as inverted hammer. This candle is for yesterday, for the Sunday, for 2 hours, so it doesn't really count. And now we see that the price is trying to edge higher. I do see the potential for this price to have a bigger retracement, and I am waiting for that. So let's check out this 4-hourly chart. I'm seeing that this is the 20 period moving average, by the way, so I just put it because it could be the price is going towards that direction. So I see that as a potential resistance, and which also couples up with this daily R3. So these can act as a resistance, though it's not very strong. Ideally, I like personally the highs or the lows, and when it couples up with the other evidence, and then it makes it more stronger rather than just having a daily R, one of the daily R1s or 2 or 3 and moving average. But it could potentially act as a resistance because the trend is so strong towards downside, and I do see that either this price is going to go have a bigger retracement and then continue towards trend direction, or it will have this shorter retracement and then going towards again to the trend direction. So I'm waiting for this price to come up to this, where this daily R3 is, which is around the same level this 4-hourly 20 moving average. They come about a few pips apart. So I'm waiting for the price to come up here, then I will be looking for the setup to go to the short side if the price gives me. However, if it continues to go higher, the second level will be up to this highs, which is at around the 108.10 zone. Roughly at this area we got these 2 highs and we got these lows here. So then I will be looking, still go to the short side. So it will be 2 potential entries, and then if I see that the price wants to break these highs and go even higher, then I will be just waiting and see how it's gonna perform. As you can see that I have order already. I took a trade last week and I'm sitting on this trade since it's a good few days. I think it was the early beginning of the week. I got into this 109.30 zone, and then I ordered it all the way down here, but I can see that it can go further down, so I'm gonna sit on the trade and see what happens. Of course, there's a chance that the price is gonna come up and stop me out, and I'm gonna only bank on the fraction of what I could have taken, because I could have taken around 300 pips, but I have not done. And this is of course a risk, but I am willing to take that risk. My stop loss is already in the profit area, so even if I get stopped out, I still make some money. So while I was recording, we can see that I took another trade. This is a hedge position. I see that this has the potential to go higher. The profit is around where these entries will be on the short side. Let's go to the shorter time frame. So this was the entry at 07.45, and the take profit is just under this daily R3, where I will be taking another trade, another position to add the previous the current position, which is at the short side. This is my second hedge position. The first one I already banked the profits. This is a good opportunity when you have a long-term trade which you're sitting on it. The price has the retracements which you can get on to the opposite direction, basically hedging the main position, and taking out some profits. It's only small profits, but at the end it does make a difference with your initial main position. And if the trade goes against you and your main position gets stopped out and you take some profits, where your hedges does adds up at the end. So now, what for the entries and exits, I'll be looking for this one to come up, as I said, around 107.85. That will be the first entry. 107.85. We would be looking around 25 to 35 pips, or you can take a bigger stop loss, and then you can place the stop loss higher, just above this high, so you will not require to take a second entry position. But I do like having a tight stop loss and taking a loss. But at the end, if I take two trades, let's say if I get stopped out here, then I could take a trade in here with a tight stop, and that trade goes in my direction and gets to a target, then I will make a lot more money than if I take the position here with a wider stop, but the position size gonna be smaller. So I prefer taking high risk reward trades. So we'll be looking about 25 to 35 pips stop, and as of the target goes, we can target either down here, as my target is at the moment 05, about 105.60 as of the first target. And if you want to hold it even further, there is another potential either down here at 0490 zone, where we got these lows down here, or you can wait up until this another monthly lows, which is at 0440. We continue with the US dollar against Canadian dollar, starting with the daily chart. Now we can see on this daily time frame that the trend is looking strongly up. We had these ugly candles in the last couple of days, but let's go down to the shorter time frames on a 4-hourly chart. I don't particularly like this kind of pattern, so we can see that the trend is up, but then we had this down move, which is supposed to be for the retracement, but then we had this up move, which looks like also a retracement up. So this is a bit more kind of confusing, that it can go up either ways. Really, the price is not really telling much that, okay, I want to go continue towards the bigger trend, or it will start go down more. So that's why I'm waiting for this price to decide where it wants to go for sure. So let's go down to the an hourly time frame and see. For what I'm waiting for this one to get me interested, I want to see for the price to come down and ideally break this area down here, which is currently standing at 143.80. So if the price comes down, breaks, let's say broke these, and then return it to retrace a bit up. So ideally we're this same level at the moment, which is 144.30 zone, but first the price needs to break this one and then slowly return to this little high here. Then I will be looking to short the trade, and for the because it's not very convincing that it wants to continue even more, then I will be looking for the first target where these lows are at 43.50 zone. So we're gonna use the relatively tight stop if the price does that. And if it wants to continue higher, then I want to see a break of these high here. So if the price, let's say, breaks and then returns down to, we got word down to this low. So if it breaks around 30 pips and then slowly returns back to the prior one of the lows, then I will be interested to get onto the long side. So that's why I'm waiting and see how the price wants to behave. Again, this is a bit difficult when I analyze at the moment, because the price behavior might change. It might do the same thing what I said, so if the price breaks and then returns, but it also very depends the candles, how they look like. so it's not as accurate when I analyze and know exactly what I'm waiting for. So of course I know what I'm waiting for, but because it's not played out yet, it's not as accurate than if I say that, okay, I'm waiting for this price to come down, I don't know, let's say these lows, then I will be going to the long side. So this is in this case the price wants to, it has to do a bit more pattern play rather than if it was just as straightforward that as like coming down to one of the lows and then I'll be looking to go to the long side. I hope you get my point, what I mean. If you don't, then you can leave it in the comments and I will try to elaborate more on that. Let's continue with the euro against Australian dollar, starting with the daily chart. The trend is, of course, looking still strongly up, even though the price put these few ugly candles again. But I do see this one still go higher, but before it does that, it wants to, the way it looks like, it wants to go and have a bigger retracement. So for now I'm waiting for this price to push a bit more higher and a bit, I mean it's actually quite about 100 pips, but it's nothing really. 100 pips for this currency is not that much, especially for the volatility like we've seen in the last few weeks. So I'm waiting for this price to push higher around where these highs are. We got these two highs here, so I'm waiting. It tried to get here but it didn't quite make it. So for this one we're gonna have a decent resistance. So we got these highs, where also this daily R2, and we also have this weekly pivot, so it's a decent amount of resistance. Let's go to an hourly chart. So if the price comes up here and it gives me this setup, then I'll be looking, so for the simplicity, let's call it at 187.75, and for the 187.75, for this one you're gonna need a bigger stop. For at the very minimum you would be looking to around 50 pips for this trade, even 60 pips, 50 to 60 pips stop for this one. But then again, for the take profit, it's gonna be a good we're gonna have a good risk reward, because we're gonna be looking to hold it down to this 4-hourly low, actually down here about 181.80 zone, multiple touches, yeah, 181.80 zone, so down here. So risk reward is very good. I would give it two or three chances depending how it's going to come up, and if it's going to set up, then I'll definitely give it a couple of chances for this one, because of the risk reward is so high and this currency moves so much. You can get a lot of pips out of it and you're gonna make a lot of money. So I'm always look out for this euro and Australian dollar and British pounds and Japanese yen. These two currency are one of my favorites because they move a lot, so you can have a lot of pips in a very short period of time. In normal market conditions, and because we have this volatility going on, it's gonna even take even less. But of course we have to be cautious, because we've seen in was it last week or week before, the I want to remind everyone that this pair covered this, when it was this flash crash, it covered 1,000 pips in 1 hour, which is a lot. So that's why we use stop losses, and that's how we protect ourselves to not to blow up the accounts. And next currency, we got US dollar, Japanese yen. Starting with the daily chart, we can see that the price tested here. We got this weekly and monthly trend line. So the price tested it here, and then now we can see that it's retracing down. So what I'm looking at right now, let's go to the 4-hourly chart. I'm expecting for this price to push a bit lower, around down to this low, which is at 109.50 area. We got another 35 pips to go, so it's not that far away. And then I will be looking to go along. This gonna be the only one entry. I don't see any second potential entry on this one, unless price comes down, maybe spikes and stops me out, and then it sets up again around the same level. But generally, when my setups comes in, it takes quite a bit if it wants to set up another time. But anyway, let's go to the 1 hourly chart. So we can see the price, and it's the same level. So we got this, the price has to break daily. It's actually trying to break this daily S2. So price wants to, if it wants to comes down here, then I'll be looking to get onto the long side. It might even want to push a little bit further and even take out this spike low down here. So that's probably going to be the second entry if the price does that. So let's have a look at the entries. So let's say 109.50 for the entry, and for this stop, now you can actually give it a 25 pip stop. That will be decent. 25 to 35 pip stops, depends. Let's examine closely. 150, 30, 20. Yeah, 35 would be a good stop. 35 pips will be a good one, even if the price comes down and marginally takes out this low here. You still should be fine. You should be still in the game. As of the targets are concerned, we would be looking, as of the first target, this daily high, which is at around the 1200 area, which gives you a very good risk reward potential if you take 35 pip stop loss, and for the potential that will be about 200 and around 250 pips. Lastly, we got Aussie against US dollar. I definitely do not like these last few days candles. I don't like how the candles are closed. However, it's still looking very weak. If we go to shorter time frames, I'm waiting for this price to push a little bit higher. We got this weekly pivot here, which has not tested it yet. And if we go to the hourly charts, I'm waiting for this one to come up around here, which is 0.5795 area. So it is close to that weekly pivot. Was the 50? 58. It's a bit further away. But we got these highs, and because the price looks very weak, I don't think it will push and go higher. Maybe it will go to near to this daily R1. Price sometimes likes to go at just about very close, but did not quite get there before it turns around and continues to the opposite direction. But I don't see much of a strength on this one to assume that the price will go higher. However, if the price does that, there's another opportunity would be at 58.50, but it's still a bit further away. I need to do a reanalyze this currency if it does that. I can't really base my analysis just purely for the weekly pivot. So let's see, 58.19. If we got anything else there, 58.19. We still got this spike. There's a spike high, but it's not good enough. So this will be the first entry, and for the second one I need to reanalyze and see if there's gonna be any potential trade for this one. But for now, we'll be looking for around 57.95 area if the price comes up and sets up. And for the stop loss is in 95. We'll be probably looking around 25 pip stops. 25 pip stop, which is gonna go just above this daily R1. And as of the targets, we'll be looking for this 4-hourly lows, which is at 55.60 zone. So it gives you a good risk reward ratio on that. Thank you guys for watching. This was Daily Forex Analysis for 23rd of March 2020. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and make sure to subscribe. I'm making daily and weekly Forex analysis, as well as videos about the knowledge you need to be a better trader. Also, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments below, or you can reach me by my social media accounts, which is going to be links in the description. Have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.